Hi, and welcome back to yet another exciting week of the Lazy Money Game. In this week's episode, I'm going to give an update on my portfolio and going to comment on some of the latest news from the central banks. So let's start with a quick portfolio update. Well, the first thing we immediately notice is that there was a red circle for this week's episode. If we then go to the portfolio values tab, then you can see that I'm down $5,500 compared to last week. And this is actually quite a significant drop. But it's not too surprising since we have seen that the S&P 500 is down a little more than 4% for this week as well. So of course my portfolio is not immune to going down when the entire market is dropping, but perhaps more importantly, if we go to my dividends tab, then we can see that I'm following my strategy quite nicely since I have received a little more than $160 in dividends within this week, and those came from Beatrice and from Stanley Black & Decker. This is actually the first time that I'm receiving a dividend from Stanley Black & Decker since I bought them. Unfortunately, if we go back to the overview arc here, you can see that I'm already down more than 20%. So as you can see, I can definitely not time the market. You could buy them today at a much more attractive price than what I paid some months ago. Just to illustrate my point here with Stanley Black & Decker, if we go to Seeking Alpha, I originally purchased them on the 12th of August, and for the first week or so, I was actually in the green with around 4%. So all of a sudden, this is where people can become quite emotional when you're doing really well in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, just a little more than a month later, you're down more than 20%. Initially, you felt so great, and then all of a sudden, you're starting to doubt everything. This is why it is so key to have a strategy and be able to follow it. It's really easy to say, but extremely hard to do in practice. So that was just a quick update to my portfolio. If we then continue to news from the Federal Reserve, I will of course include a link in the description below so you can go and watch the full speech. It's around 40 minutes in total with all the questions. And I mean, it was not too surprising to see that the Federal Reserve is increasing the interest rate by 75 basis points. But what was perhaps much more surprising was this press release regarding their economic projections. I will of course leave a link in the description below for these projections as well, but let's take a closer look at them. So if we go to slide 2 here in the economic projections from the Federal Reserve board members, well, the interesting point for me here is now inflation is definitely not transitory. As you can see here from the median, they are projecting that the core inflation, it will take all the way out to 2025 before we are back at around the 2% mark, meaning that they will have to keep increasing the interest rates in order for them to achieve this goal. And as Jerome Powell have stressed time and time again, they want to fight the inflation because you need to have price stability. It's not good for anyone to have inflations at the level which we're currently seeing. So this is what I believe really shocked the market, in the sense that they are not going to lower the interest rates this year or in the beginning of the next year, at least not if these projections are to stand. But you have to remember, it is projections. No one can tell with complete certainty what is going to happen. But at least you can see that they have changed their viewpoint from previously when they were indicating that inflation was just transitory. When you're looking at this table, then you must understand there is no transitory about the inflation which we're currently seeing. So now the important question then becomes, what will I do with this new information? Well, I will of course stick to my strategy, but I will have a fundamental understanding that I should expect that the interest rates will keep rising, and that means that I should be prepared for stocks being priced lower. So this is where I shouldn't be sad to see my portfolio dropping in value, but instead I should twist my mind to say, this is the time where I should be able to find really good and attractive deals for my next investment and try to build the wealth which I would like to have 10 or 20 or 30 years from now. This should provide some good buying opportunities. And that is actually just another way of saying, well, my initial purchase here, for instance, in Stanley Black & Decker, well, if I thought it was an attractive price back in the middle of August, well, then the price which I'm looking at now should definitely interest me more as well. I mean, this is really classical, fundamental analysis of the businesses. Of course, if we are heading into a severe recession, then we should expect most stock prices to drop significantly in value. So now is actually the time to sit and figure out what business would you ideally like to be invested in, because perhaps you will actually get that opportunity. But I mean, when you will get it, is it within the next month or within the next half year or the next year or the next 2 years? No one really knows when the bottom is. So will I continue buying all the way down? For sure I will. I will just follow my strategy and try to see if I can pick up some of the good businesses. I mean, perhaps I will actually end up holding shares in either Microsoft or Apple, since maybe they will actually come down to a price where I would like to initiate a position. So that actually sums it up for yet another exciting week of the Lazy Money Game. And if you have enjoyed the content, then please consider leaving a like. It really helps out the channel a lot. And unfortunately, I might have a bit of a break here on the channel, since I have some business travel that I need to attend to. So I will try and upload as soon as I can, but I'm not really sure when the next upload will be, unfortunately. And until I see you next time, bye!